My matchup that matters, I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks offensive line versus the Rams defensive line.
Cool.
Seattle has given up the most pressures in the NFL so far this year, and I really like this Rams defensive line. We've talked about Jared Verse and how fantastic he has been so far this season with a ton of pressures just for a rookie. Braden Fisk, okay, the pass rush win percentage is a little bit lower, but he's still racking up the pressures as well. He's still getting home. Byron Young, we've seen him be able to do that. Kobe Turner, Bobby Brown's good as a run defender in the middle, and so this Rams defensive line, I think we've talked about it quite a bit on this show. I don't know if they're getting enough national love as they probably deserve because of how young of a group they are, but they're going up against a Seattle Seahawks offensive line that has been pretty susceptible to giving up pressure throughout the entire season. And I don't know if that gets better this week. And again, I think that we're going to talk about, the quarterback matchups and things like that. And obviously those are important things to talk about. But to me, this is a not talked about as much part of this matchup that I think is going to mean a lot. It is such a weakness of the Seahawks. And I don't think people realize just how much the Seahawks offensive line has struggled,
right,
and how tough that might look for them this weekend against a young defensive line that really looks to get after it every single week. So that is my matchup that matters there. What about you, Carmen?
Yeah, well, and plus Geno Smith is being extraordinarily productive, and you just wonder how in the world he's doing that behind a line that really isn't doing much to help him out. But I'm going to the other side of things, and it's Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua against the Seattle secondary. We saw what happened when both of these guys returned to the lineup, much to both Trevor and I's chagrin, and seeing just exactly how much that mattered. And then you've got really good corners, I think, in Devin Witherspoon and Reek Woolen for Seattle. And I really am looking forward to this matchup more than anything. I don't know that I have any of these guys like having the edge or the obvious edge, I should say. But Reek Woolen allowed just 65 yards in coverage this season. Devin Witherspoon allowed 271. This is a stingy secondary, and how is that going to kind of match up between these two players? And I just think that's going to be really interesting.
It looks like Metcalf's gonna be able to go in this game.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't sure about it. It's early right now. It's Wednesday. I didn't know if I wanted to like commit to him being a plus factor, but
I think he has to be, right?
Yeah,
because
for sure.
so he's not practicing on Wednesday. Mike McDonald said that they're optimistic that he's able to practice tomorrow when he's dealing with a knee injury. But you saw what Seattle's offense was without him. They really rely on him to be a one-on-one winner in single coverage and contested catch situations. He leads the team right now in catches of 15 or more yards, and that is what Geno Smith wants to do. And not having that player out there, it felt like they did not have the main foundational piece of their passing offense against the Falcons, or against the Buffalo Bills last week. It certainly was against the Falcons when they played really well in that game. But he has to be the plus factor, because if they go out and they have the same sort of offensive struggles that they did against the Buffalo Bills without DK Metcalf, the Rams will beat them. We've seen the Rams play well at times this season when we didn't think that there was any reason for them to, and now they're more healthy. Now there is reason to believe that the Rams are going to play well. So you look at Metcalf and just how much of a big-time winner with almost an elite PFF receiving grade in single coverage. I mean, you talk about a guy who puts it up there for his receivers to go up and win it. I mean, Geno Smith, that's his entire style of football. And without DK Metcalf out there on the field, it looks like a completely different offense. So if they don't have him, I think they're in trouble. But what about you? What's a plus factor for you?
It's Jared Verse for the Rams, given the fact that, I mean, he is just having one hell of a rookie season, 21.6% pressure rate. And that's the highest of any edge playing right now. Aiden Hutchinson had a higher one, but, he got hurt. And now a rookie has taken the spot of that. 21% pass rush win rate too, which ranks fourth among qualified edges, and that's guys that have at least 100 snaps. He's obviously the first among rookies in that stat, and then he's the Rams' highest graded edge, obviously, so 77, which ranks 19th among all edges as well. So he's just having an incredible season, and he's becoming a game wrecker for this Rams defensive line that we were really concerned about, obviously, with Aaron Donald going out. And you've got some other guys along that, especially on the defensive interior too, that are helping things out and getting Jared Verse kind of those one-on-one and favorable matchups. But they've done a really, really good job. And no one obviously is going to replace Aaron Donald, but they've done a really good job at maintaining production even with losing a player like that. And I think that that deserves a ton of commendation from the Rams coaching staff and just in general. But Jared Verse just killing it for the rookies.
They
Defensive player
are,
of the year candidate or defensive
no,
rookie of the year candidate.
yeah, no, I mean, defensive rookie of the year front runner. I mean, you could talk about him as defensive player of the year. Maybe if he would stop missing so many tackles, maybe he could continue to rack up those sacks in the backfield. But, I don't want to take anything away from him. He's having a phenomenal year. But Jared, come on, the missed tackles got to stop.
Right.
You could have a historic rookie year here for the second half of this one if you're not missing as many tackles as you did in the first. But, we're going to stay positive here. We're going to talk about how good he was playing. And I agree with you. I think the Rams defensive line is a big time X factor for this one. Obviously, I had them as my matchup that matters here.